Here, come on in. Crystal's here, let's begin. No time for that fake stuff. Diamond in the rough, we dive in. Knows why. Real talk, hit it hard. Opinions raw and real. Crime talk, that's the deal. Crystal's crime conversations. Real talk, no hesitations. Crystal's crime conversations. Fun around raw, old sensations. Welcome, come on in. Fun and raw, all sensations. Let's go.
One second, guys. Okay, so, hey, do better. I say Marlena is sus as fuck. Yeah, we have some things to talk about. Before I go over the Marlena stuff, one of my favorite channels, Carrie Moody, one of her videos popped up on my thing, and I watched it. However, when I watched this, before we go over the Marlena stuff, missing how Marlena, no summer. Yeah. I didn't listen to the whole interview yet. I only listened to about an hour and a half of it, which is what I'm going to go over. But before we go over that, I found a video I shared in my community post last night of Andrew. And what I found funny about this video is Carrie Moody puts in there that this came out prior to Jody Sue saying Andy was selling things to Candace for kids. So I just thought this was important to listen to. I'm not going to deeply go over it today. I have some clips I want to look for to go with it, but I want to make sure you guys hear this and understand it. So I'm just going to play it quickly. Let me make sure I have my, okay. Oh no, hold on. Big head.
Do you believe everything Judy Sue says? Because I believe she's a hypocritical man-beating piece of shit. What was the question? Do you know if Hunter knew Judy Sue and her boyfriend Andy? Hunter named Andy in his interview with Chris, and then proceeded to say Judy Sue said Hunter would know all the names of Don's dealers. Well, does that include you, Judy Sue? Just saying. Fucking meth head. Or shall we go back to the point where you sold Candace the shit that fucking Summer OD'd on fucking when she was 3 years old? Well, let's not go down that road, right? Fucking stupid. Stop yelling. What am I looking up?
Now, Hunter's dad, Andrew, can say some pretty off the wall, crazy kind of things. However, we can't forget this video that follows from Jody Sue that was taken on July 4th, 2022.
I want you to hear her. This video followed Andrew saying that. So what that would mean is Andrew talked about it and mentioned it prior to Jody Sue. My question is how does Andrew know? But let's continue the video and then I'm going to move on. I'm hoping Andrew will see this and answer that because what the fuck? Okay.
After watching the video of Jody Sue, it really doesn't seem all that far-fetched.
Well, that's good. Y'all go over there and ask why exactly it is he was selling drugs to the children at 110. Why he was potentially causing little girls over there to be sedated and to be touched with the shit he was selling over there. Go ask. Because I have fucking questions. Not standing in front of him anymore. Yeah.
So my question would be she claims she reported it. I don't know whether she did since this came out so long after. But we've been over the Jody Sue saying that a million times on a million channels. The question is, Andrew said it first. How did Andrew know that, and why did nobody but Carrie Moody pick up on it and nobody cover it? I didn't see it until yesterday. However, I think that's pretty significant. I would like Andrew to tell us how he knew about it before Jody Sue did. All right, I'm going to come off of here. We're going to listen for a little bit. I have to run downstairs and grab some coffee. While you're listening, I have a lot to say about the Marlena stuff. We're going to go through about an hour, hour and a half. I want to cut it when they start talking about Jody and Andy, only because I haven't heard all of Jody's response yet. And I might want to make that part into videos instead of a live. So I'm kind of just want to listen to it before I show it in pieces over the next couple days. I think this is significant. I think that I have a lot of questions about Marlena. I'm going to show some text messages, or I might read some text messages between Dawn and myself when Dawn got out of jail about Marlena and some of the situation that Marlena speaks about in the first hour or so of this. But when we get to the Jody stuff, I'm going to cut it there and then I'll decide later today. I have something to do today and I have to get some sleep. I've been up all night. So either late tonight or tomorrow morning, we'll go over a second part of this. All right, let me let you guys listen. I'm going to go run and get some coffee and I will be right back.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. PG, ask Marlena if Summer could talk. Marlena, could Summer talk?
Yes, ma'am, she could talk.
Why do you think that Candace and Don Wells and I did see a few others trying to act like she couldn't?
I really don't understand that because she could talk as plain as just like the boys could.
Right. She could talk just like your little girl can talk.
Yes, my little girl can talk and say full sentences by the age of 3.
And Summer was just as
talkative all the time, just like my little girl.
Right. So she was just as advanced as your daughter as in speech.
Yes. She's actually ahead of my daughter in speech a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my little girl had to have speech therapy for a minute.
And Summer's, we heard on the 911 call Summer screaming for help, mommy, mom, help me. I don't know if you've ever heard that video of that 911 call, but during this,
Ma'am.
you haven't heard it.
No, ma'am.
You haven't heard that. I'm going to try to play that out. I'm going to try to play it out tonight so that you can hear it. It's very, very disturbing. The way Summer hollers, mommy, mom, help me, and Candace ain't helping her. And then she hollers for somebody, anybody, please help me. And I thought for sure, we're hearing this 911 call, that when law enforcement got there, they would have wanted to talk to this little girl that, this grown man was in the shower with, that he was supposed to be continuing to try to attack. I thought for sure they would, want to talk to this child and, possibly have a healthcare check on this child and everything, before releasing it back to the parents after that. But nobody helped her. Nobody helped her. And so you were quite aware of that incident of the 911 call and everything that conspired up there when Jose was there. Did you ever meet Jose?
I never met Jose.
You didn't ever see him.
No, I
Everybody,
never met him. Nothing.
okay, right. They're asking Marlena, how did you and Candace meet?
Me and Candace meet because of my dad gave Donnie, her husband, a job at the time because he had just came down here and he was looking for work. And my dad he painted a lot. So he painted all the hospitals around here and all that, and he put him to work. And then I met Candace that way.
Okay. And back when me and you was talking, this is Marlena's story if she wants to tell it. But you was telling me about Candace. We know that Candace was trying to get rid of Summer. She's trying to give Summer to Grandis and God knows whoever. And Don put his foot down and wanted to keep Summer, as his personal whatever. I think we know now why, but at the time, and that's probably what Candace was afraid of as well. Candace don't like no women at all. Period. For some reason, she just hates other women. Let it be a child, a teenager, an adult. She just hates women. Period. Even a baby. But you said that she also was, trying to adopt out the boy, give away the boy, the youngest son. Do you want to, and I appreciate that. PG, ask Marlena if Summer could talk. Marlena, could Summer talk?
Yes, ma'am. She could talk.
Why do you think that Candace and Don Wells and I did see a few others trying to act like she couldn't?
I really don't understand that because she could talk as plain as just like the boys could.
Right. She could talk just like your little girl can talk.
Yes, my little girl can talk and say full sentences by the age of 3.
And Summer was just as
talkative all the time, just like my little girl.
Right. So she was just as advanced as your daughter as in speech.
Yes. She's actually ahead of my daughter in speech a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my little girl had to have speech therapy for a minute.
And Summer's, we heard on the 911 call, Summer screaming for help, mommy, mom, help me. I don't know if you've ever heard that video of that 911 call, but during this, you haven't heard it?
No, ma'am.
You haven't heard that? I'm going to try to play that out. I'm going to try to play it out tonight so that you can hear it. It's very, very disturbing. The way Summer hollers, mommy, mom, help me, and Candace ain't helping her. And then she hollers for somebody, anybody, please help me. And I thought for sure, we're hearing this 911 call, that when law enforcement got there, they would have wanted to talk to this little girl that, this grown man was in the shower with, that he was supposed to be continuing to try to attack. I thought for sure they would, want to talk to this child and, possibly have a healthcare check on this child and everything, before releasing it back to the parents after that. But nobody helped her. Nobody helped her. And so you were quite.
So I have some things to say about that part. However, I'm not going to say them right now. I want to wait and see if PG plays that 911 call. If she does not in this live, we're going to go back over that and I'm going to play it because I have it downloaded. Okay. I do have something to say about the next part though. So let's listen.
Aware of that incident of the 911 call and everything that conspired up there when Jose was there. Did you ever meet Jose?
I never met Jose.
You didn't ever see him.
No,
Everybody,
I never met him. Nothing.
Okay, right. They're asking Marlena, how did you and Candace meet?
Me and Candace meet because of my dad gave Donnie, her husband, a job at the time because he had just came down here and he was looking for work. And my dad he painted a lot. So he painted all the hospitals around here and all that, and he put him to work. And then I met Candace that way.
I believe that. However, why did Fred lie? Because in one of Fred's first interviews with Ziggy, I think it was the second one, Fred had said he worked for Rick and that he wasn't sure if Dawn did, but he may have. So why would Fred lie? Just a question. Okay.
Okay. And back when me and you was talking, you know, this is Marlena's story if she wants to tell it, but you was telling me about Candace. We know that Candace was trying to get rid of Summer. She's trying to give Summer to Grandis and God knows whoever, and Don put his foot down and wanted to keep Summer, as his personal whatever. I think we know now why, but at the time, and that's probably what Candace was afraid of as well. Candace don't like no women at all. Period. For some reason she just hates other women. Let it be a check.
Those are claims that Prayer Garden makes, and she puts the word "we know." How do we know that Candace was trying to give? Is it because you're believing Marlena, which I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying, Marlena, we can't take anything anybody says as word for many reasons we're going to get into. However, to sit there and say we know fact is wrong, Prayer Garden, and you know that. And this is my problem with you. This is why I'm always critiquing the things you say, because we don't know that. Candace didn't come out and say that. We're hearing it through third party. Okay? And about Candace hating women. I see Candace making friends with Daisy and Jankies and TT and Trudy, many women. So I don't know where you get that impression. Now, I'm not sitting here trying to stick up for Candace. I'm just saying, what does that have to do with Summer going missing? But let's continue.
Child, a teenager, an adult. She just hates women, period, even a baby. But you said that she also was, trying to adopt out the boy, give away the boy, the youngest son. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Candace tried to adopt, or tried to let me, well, I was supposed to have adopted the one above Summer, the little boy. And I was told I wasn't going to get pregnant. I had ovarian cancer. I wasn't going to have a youngin. And all my friends around me was having kids and stuff. And when she's pregnant with him, she told me that that she would adopt him out to me since she didn't want him anymore. She didn't want to keep him because she already had enough as it was. And then when it was time to adopt him and her to have him, she took off and fled the state. And then she got mad over something petty, I guess. I don't know what it was. And did not let me adopt him. And she quit talking to me for like almost a year after that. So I didn't see him again until he was like a year old.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That makes no sense to me. Candace's son, at the time of Summer's disappearance, the youngest one, was 9 years old. I have to go look to fact check, but Journey was 8. I don't know exact birthdays, but they would have been pregnant around the same time. So how does Marlena say I couldn't get pregnant? I was going to adopt the one before Summer, but she has a baby almost the same age, which means right after that baby was born, she was either pregnant or her and Candace were pregnant at the very same time. So for me, that sounds like a lie. I have to fact check it, but that would be the first example of Marlena telling a fib, if the birth dates match. But let's continue.
Okay, so she pulled back when she wasn't going to get what she wanted in the adoption. And
I think Dawn had a lot. Now that I see that, I think Dawn had a lot to do with that because of what's all been going on with these children and what's been happening.
absolutely, absolutely. And but God blessed you with the baby. He blessed you with your own. And
Yes,
and Marina greatly loves her little girl. Me and her was talking behind the scenes, and she was just telling me how blessed she was and how much she loves her little girl. And due to Summer's case, Marlena had to go through a lot of stuff through CPS. Marlena was also telling me that that the Wells had, well, someone had reported Marlena and her sister to Child Protective Services, saying some very ugly and awful things. And Marlena had no idea who it really was. until after Summer came up missing. And then she, it enlightened on her why that particular phone call was made. And Marlena was very concerned and worried because not only her daughter, but another person's daughter, a few days before Summer went missing, was up on that hill. They, like law enforcement and everyone else, they did not suspect. I mean, they knew Don and Candace weren't the best people, but they never suspected that they would, be doing the evil stuff that they was doing up there with these children, that was left in their trust, to play with their children. And so, but after Summer came up missing, she, it dawned on her why they did what they done. They were setting her up. And that wasn't right. That wasn't right. But, because of this, they was causing her a whole lot of problems.
So what I think I'm hearing, and it'll come up, is Marlena say that 6 months prior to Summer going missing, Candace was calling DHS on her. Now, we already know after Summer goes missing, it's Lips calling DHS on her. I think this part's important to listen to. Do I think it has anything to do with Summer going missing? If there was a retaliation, it could be a motive. But do I think that it really has anything to do with Summer going missing? I don't know. Maybe. Because of the story she tells about Journey and the days, and we're going to get into that, and that's when I'm going to read some of the text messages between Dawn and myself. I might show them. I don't know what I'm doing there yet. Let me go through them, and because what I did was I just recorded a portion of our conversation that I thought matched this. Okay.
Problems with Child Protective Services after Summer came up missing as well. Because now law enforcement.
Hold on a minute. I think in like 1 year from then a year of CPS was called. I know I got called on at least 50 sometimes within a year.
After Summer went missing?
Between that, the year, between like 6 months before that and after that.
That's harassment.
50 some odd times.
Exactly. And
we know Lips was involved in that. I speculate that so was Linda. I don't know why. Lips and Linda's relationship, in my opinion, is a bit strange. I would like to know if there is a relationship or if there was a previous knowing of Linda and Marlena prior to Summer going missing. Just a question, because I'm speculating in my own opinion.
Yeah, and the things they were saying, trust and believe. Marlena knows that it was, who it was. She knows who it was that was doing that to her. And then after Summer came up missing, the jealousy and the hatred and the bitterness that, Marlena still got her child, Candace don't have none, kicked in. And, and now it's, let's just call and cause this, in Candace's mind, DICTH, a lot of trouble. And so she kept continuing to put Marlena through a lot of hell, even after that. And that's, a whole lot of reason that Marlena didn't ever.
So do you think that she said, let me go back a second. Let me re-listen to that.
Trust and believe. Marlena knows that it was, who it was. She knows who it was that was doing that to her. And then after Summer came up missing, the jealousy and the hatred and the bitterness that, Marlena still got her child, Candace don't have none, kicked in. And, and now it's, let's just call and cause this, in Candace's mind, DICTH, a lot of trouble. And
so did Candace ask Lips to continuously call DHS and cause problems for Marlena? That's a question I have. I think it's a viable question, since these are the claims that Marlena is making on behalf, PG saying it. But like I said, we're going to listen to Marlena talk.
So she kept continuing to put Marlena through a lot of hell, even after that. And that's, a whole lot of reason that Marlena didn't ever, come out here, come out, and Candace was trying to, the people she felt she couldn't, control, that she was causing so much hell and havoc. They didn't have time. She kept them so busy with all of this other stuff that Herndon was doing that they didn't have time to come out here and be able to really talk or tell or, do anything, because they was, all wrapped up and worried about what, these phone calls to cause them a lot of problems behind the scenes. And of course, a mother's going to be taking care of, all of this stuff, before anything else. And, so Don and Candace they were very strategized on their plots and ploys against, these people surrounding this case, the ones that, had information that could be vital to Summer's case. They were doing all kinds.
So another thing I want to state is that these statements that they're making will be coming to court with me, because Lips claims that she is a witness against me and I've never met her, or even prior to her making that statement had a real conversation with her. But I think that this is important because it plays into maybe why they are retaliating against me, because I called that shit out. It's an opinion. So I will be taking this interview to court with me, which is why we're going over it. Anything that's helpful to me in court will be used. Thank you, Prayer Garden.
Kinds of evil stuff. I mean, just like Mary and her sisters and them, and Allison. Allison knew who was making them CPS calls on her. I can't just try the same shit with them.
So then Prayer Garden goes on to say, just like Marina, Mary does not have underage children. Mary's children are all of age. Why would Candace be calling CPS on Mary during the time of Summer's disappearance? So this is a bullshit statement out of Prayer Garden's mouth, in my opinion. But Allison did have DHS involvement, CPS, whatever you call it, here at CYF. She most definitely did, but it went back to something that happened between her children, the grandchildren of Sherry, and Candace and Dawn's children. I don't know exactly what that is. There's rumors and speculation. I'm not going to continue to spew them out. But there was definitely 100%, according to Allison and Candace and Dawn for that matter, CPS involvement having something to do with them two families. I don't think it's because Candace called CPS on Allison. I think that they had an issue that was found out in school somehow. Just me speculating.
Allison, I'm sure that Mary and her sisters and them probably got a few phone calls as well, and so forth and so on. They, that's because this is how these people operate. They're very evil, and this is the way they operate. But Marlena has, a lot to still be concerned with, especially over the, like, as I said, the last few months. Don Wells is, coming alone and hanging out in areas where, in my opinion, this is my opinion, hanging in areas where he feels that Marlena's daughter is. The gentleman you're hearing in the background of Marlena's avatar is her brother. That's her brother in the background, and he is very familiar and affiliated with this group of people as well, and how evil they are as well. Marlena, someone said, did your daughter
Do you mean to tell me I read all of that muted? Are you kidding me? Holy God, guys. They need to have like a bell ringer for the subs. If you're muted, you can make a noise and let the person know they're muted, because that's freaking ridiculous. I just read so much. Hi, Innocent. Hi, Marion. Hi, True Crime and Time. No, I didn't know I was muted. What a pain in the ass. I do better. Okay, let's start this over. That was a lot. Dang it. Okay. So let me start with telling you again why I'm reading this. This is a conversation between Dawn and myself. Hi, Tila. In this conversation, Dawn and I are talking about Marlena. I'm not going to share the whole conversation between Dawn and I. And actually, because I just read all that, I'm not going to read it all again. I will post it instead and you can read it. I'm just going to read what I think is significant. Okay. And I'll tell you about it because that was a whole lot and I still had a whole lot to go. Okay. So, in just 40 some seconds. Okay. So, I guess I am going to have to read it. Let's just fucking read it. Let me start with, we were already conversating prior to this. And at other moments when I feel it's ready to bring it out, I'll bring it out. During this conversation, I had asked Dawn not to tell other creators about our conversation. Did he or did he not? I don't know. I have brought very minimal out on Dawn and I's conversation, at least to YouTube. And that's because I never wanted to attack the parents, and that's not what this is. This is just because Marlena did this interview with Prayer Garden, and a lot of our conversation goes with what Marlena was talking about in the first hour and a half of their conversation. And I wanted to go back and see what Dawn had said about those situations, and they're much different than what Marlena's saying. So as I go through this, I will give you my feelings on it. I'm not looking at chat. Let's just reread it. You're not going to get what was before this. If I ever feel the need to bring it out, I will. If you have any questions or you're confused about anything, just let me know in the chat. So, can you tell me, is it true Journey spent the night when Summer went missing and had to leave? Marlena is very capable. She is now running around doing drugs, completely abandoned her daughter. She was dropping her daughter off at our house, then running around till I stopped it about 10 days later. Summer come up missing. Okay, that is very good to know. When you get off work and have time, can we chat about this? Yes, thanks for your help. You know, I want you guys to figure this out. Thank you for friending me, because at this time, Dawn was friending everybody from that profile he had when he had gotten out of jail. All the creators. I was kind of a little shocked because Dawn and Candace never paid no attention to me that I noticed, but I was a little shocked that he friended me. I wrote him. He put, same here, thanks, thumbs up. Then his next sentence to me is, Liz was with Rick Crawford. Rick Crawford died. We run into Liz and she told us all these stories. And she also said that Ricky is now homeless. So the reason I'm reading this now is because Dawn also told me, and I don't know if it's in this conversation, that Ricky was up at his house and did work for him, and they cut trees. He cut trees on Dawn's property prior to Summer going missing. We hear Jeremy Pill say that they were cutting the trees and the grass all the way down. So was it Ricky that Dawn hired to do that with? I think that's a good question. And I didn't ask that in the first portion when you didn't hear me. So that's good. Okay. I think it's important to hear what he says about Ricky because Marlena mentions him. All right. Let me skip to the next slide. Uh, Yes, we need to talk. Please do not tell other creators anything yet. I don't want to fight with anyone. I just want to help. They have put me through the ringer with all their fake bullshit. Just staying focused on Jody, and she is a whack job. Well, we all know about me and Jody here. He put, yes, I absolutely agree. Thank you very much. And we'll keep this between us. Thank you. I know wild speculation, but I had thought it seems a lot thought Marlena lived with you guys. Do you think she owed money and they thought Summer was Journey and took the wrong child? He writes back, yes, very possible, very possible. I have thought that myself. I put, do you know of any debts she owed or any enemies? JSB hates her. Do you know about that? Next slide. Marlena is just another, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, that's it. Marlena is just another snake. She would do anything for drug money. She actually drove a dude up here to steal everything. We're old and loaded it in her car. I don't know why he has we're old. And loaded it in her car, all my tools and all kinds of stuff. Threw it in her car, and then they all went and got high. I can't prove it, but I know it was her. Marlena is definitely a suspect in my eyes. I don't trust her. She's got big problems. She would always dump her kid off here. I come home from work, and I think he meant to put, will be here, and she will be out getting high with her friends and stuff. He put your friends, but I think he meant to put hers. And I told Candace, weren't we already have 4 kids? She's not going to do that to us. And I made Candace take her to her grandmother's house. And about 10 days later, Summer disappeared. Marlena is capable of this sort of thing. So I'm just going to address all of this now. And then we could just listen to the interview and we could chat. Because they talk about this. So Marlena says it was the Tuesday before that she dropped. Let me make sure. We'll listen to it. But I think she said it was the Tuesday before, and Candace had brought Summer back home Journey. Grandis had brought Journey back home on the Friday, and she wasn't supposed to return until Sunday. And then they start talking about the packing of a suitcase and all of that other stuff. Well, you're going to hear how Marlena responds to some of the things Dawn and I spoke about, which is why I'm reading it. Their stories don't match. I put, man, so Journey was not at your house on the 14th. He puts Marlena. No. I put, she worries me so badly. Have you seen her interviews with Lips? They don't even make sense. And Fred as well. Do you know, were they close? Close? Were Fred and Marlena close to one another? I know they're related, but he acted like he never spoke to her. No pillhead or meth head, I think he it says method, ever makes sense. I find that hard to believe. I don't know what I was responding to. Like in a druggie, as long as the drugs are good, they get along. But when you get in their way of their drugs, of course, they're going to fight. I put, okay, so they fought over drugs. Good to know. Let me go back. Hold on. You get the gist of that. I don't have to go back. Hold on. Like in a druggie, as long as the drug. Wait, I find that. Wait, hold on. Man, Dawn, I don't know what to believe anymore. It's hard not to accuse Candace as she was the last one with her, but all the shady people and things going on there are just so crazy. How did I get past that? Hold on, I messed up. Here we go. He writes, Marlena is very addicted to drugs and would do anything for drugs, and she's very underhanded. She's in them with a hillbilly mafia. Think she can do whatever the hell she wants to anybody. So he told me that she's in some kind of hillbilly mafia. I don't know what you guys think about that. She addresses there's no cornbread mafia with Prayer Garden. You guys could tell me what you think about it in the chat while we're listening. Right. Tell me about that. That is what I'm researching exactly, because at that time I was researching the cornbread mafia. Everybody was. He put me and Marlena would come up here to our house crying, I need help, help me. And Candace give her cash money, helped her and everything else. And she would turn around and stab us in our back. Not only once, but many times. She come up here crying, oh, I'm so sorry for blah, blah. I'll change my ways. Help me, I'm hurting. I can't do nothing, blah, blah, blah. We watch her kid, give her money, and she turn around, stab us in the back again, if that tells you anything. I'm going to skip this next part for reasons. Y'all can go back and read it if I post it. All right, I'm extremely worried about these people connected to Marlena. Me too. I was shunned on Facebook for bringing it out. They thought I was crazy. Me too. Oh, that's the other thing. And I meant to say YouTube. But truth always comes out. God will prevail. Okay, I don't want to talk. This is Linda's stuff for court, so I don't really want to. That's it. That's the whole freaking conversation that I recorded to share with you guys. Let me come to chat, see what you guys think. Okay, hello, innocent. Make sure to keep an eye on chat. Yeah, I'm trying, innocent. It's hard to do when I'm reading from another tab. I can't see both. So I'll just come back and read it. Dawn B said in her chat that Dawn and Candace's roof is all tore up by the storm. That's sad. He was there doing drone footage, which is stalking. I addressed that at the beginning of this live. He shouldn't be there, especially when they've had court interactions together. I don't understand it. I'll have to watch all of Dawn B's video. I watched maybe 3 minutes of it and shut it off. Why is Marlena running from place to place? She said last night about Tony Hammonds. Like I said, I didn't get that far in. She also said she tried getting in her car a night ago. I didn't get that far in. Aw, thank you, Tila. I heard there was a lot of stuff done up there around the same time as the tree cutters. Yes, that's what Dawn told me. He had Rick Crawford up there cutting trees. Now, I'll post that if you need me to, or we could put it out another time. But I think that's significant just because Jeremy Pill, Jody, and others have said that that was cut like they've never seen before. Nobody's ever seen it cut. You have to ask why, and why just that one path going down. Trees cut down. Oh, I didn't hear about a shed. There are a lot of comments that were deleted in PG's live. Luckily, I managed to screenshot them before deleted. Good. I hope if I ever need them, you'll be willing to share. Oh, good job. Thank you. Sent forward. Marion, PG trying to get Andy and Jody Sue fighting with the locals. Well, I think that Andy and Jody Sue already fight with the locals, but I think she's trying to maybe make something bigger. However, I think what Jody Sue has to say is important. Like I said, I listened to some of it, but I didn't listen to this whole live. And I want to make videos, I think, out of the Jody Sue and Marlena stuff and then come back and go over them live like I do. You guys know. Only because I haven't been able to listen to both and put it together and hear what they have to say. And that's what I like to do is connect their words, see what matches, see what doesn't. And I haven't been through either of the whole lives. So a lot of death surrounding Marlena. There is, and I don't know if she addresses some of it. I hope while we listen to this, and please don't tell me yet, but I hope she talks about the whole Earl situation and Clesta. I think that that's significant considering Earl Taylor was found the day after Summer had gone missing. Must be a frightening life. Who wants to live that life? She said she's known Candace for 16 years. Yeah, she could have. Innocent. And the reason I say that is because Dawn always goes to Tennessee. He's a regular there. That's been part of my problem on my channel, trying to get people to understand. People say Dawn knew people didn't want Dawn to the area, but that's not true. Dawn has lived there several times, even with his ex-wife. He visited often because his mother lived there since 1991, I believe. 1991 or 92. How many years ago is that? 91, what? 2001, 2012, 2022. That's almost 30 years by the time Summer went missing. I've lived in the area I'm in right now for over 20 years, and I consider me a local. So I'm pretty sure 30 years of Dawn Wells being on Ben Hill Road off and on for years at a time, for months at a time, for weeks at a time, even for days at a time. They consider Dawn Wells and his mother a local. That's just my opinion. 16 years means she knew them 2 years before they moved there. Yeah. It's very possible. I don't see why it wouldn't be. I think something's with the horse too. I think that's possible. Yeah, the horse belonged to David Bays. We already knew that. I have videos on it. She said her nephew is Hunter, not that Hunter. There's another one. Oh, another thing that wasn't in our text messages that because I'm just going to let you guys listen to it and we'll chat. But another thing in there was she talked about the amount of underage people Candace had been with and that Hunter wasn't the first. Well, then she goes on to say, I'm not going to say the name. I won't say the name because she didn't in PG's live, but it's a little late for that. Marlena, you done already said the name to Lips. We already know who that is, but you said that that person changed. But what does that matter? Because Candace, if true, you're letting us know that Candace was being a pedophile, in your opinion. I think it's important that you speak more about it when you're going to say that, or that you don't speak about it at all and you just tell it to the feds. Although you said you did tell the feds a lot and your daughter did too. So, all right, I'm going to come off the screen. I'm going to drink a little bit of my coffee and take some Tylenol. I suddenly got a headache. And we're just going to listen to PG for a little bit so that we can get through this. I've already been on an hour and I don't like to stay on more than 2.
Daughter see Summer pack a suitcase and say she was going on a trip the night before. I'm going to let Marlena answer these questions.
I can't see the writing, so you might have to read them to me.
Okay. Did your daughter see a suitcase packed for Summer around the time she went missing?
Yes, she did. She told me when grandma or grandpa, whatever her name is,
Grandass.
Grandass, yeah. When Grandass brought her home that morning, she said that she seen a suitcase and it was packed, that her and her daddy was going away, and it was just her and her daddy. Nobody else. Nobody else was going. It was just her and her father going. And yes,
Yeah.
my daughter has talked to the police. Yes, my daughter has talked to FBI. So yes, they do know this.
And Grandass is the one. See, Marlena's daughter wasn't supposed to come home until Sunday. Marlena was going to pick her daughter up on Sunday. She was supposed to spend the weekend with. She was supposed to spend the weekend with Summer that particular weekend, but for some reason, unexpectedly, Grandis comes running with Marlena's daughter back to Marlena's house on Friday.
Late Friday afternoon. She went there on a Tuesday night, and she was supposed to stay for a week because it was in the summer and she was out of school, and they were supposed to go to wetlands and stuff like that because my car was down. And Candace said, "Let me have her. We're gonna go to wetlands. I'll pay for it all. Me and Dawn will take care of her, and I'll bring her back to you on Sunday evening when we get back, or you can pick her up. We just stay in touch, and I'll let you know." Well, I didn't have time to stay in.
Hunter references going to the water park the day Summer went missing. Marlena stating that Journey is saying, her daughter is saying, I hate using her name, I don't mean to, but that her daughter is saying that Summer had a suitcase packed. They were supposed to go on a vacation, just her and Dawn. But I want you to please keep in mind that Hunter also referenced that water park and them going that week. What happened that changed that? Something changed. I believe that was in the plans at the time. Ivy's mom, I do, but I'm really bad at my emails. You're better to message me on Facebook. Let me get you a link to my Facebook page. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I mean, just things probably were going on with no supervision. They even accused the boys of some things that pissed me off. I didn't hear that yet. But yeah, I think that there's a lot just in the first hour of this, and the trip is very interesting to me. It always has been. We've heard that before. But like I said, what Marlena says and what Dawn says is two completely different things.
In touch because Friday morning about 10 o'clock, Grandass was bringing my daughter to the bottom of the hill and dropped her off at my house.
Right.
Where I lived at that time in Baylitton.
Absolutely.
And I asked my daughter why she was at home so soon. She said that, here comes the suitcase thing, said that her dad and her was going away on a field trip and she had to come home on a trip somewhere. They were going away for a couple of days.
Another thing, she says Grandis dropped her off. Meanwhile, Dawn told me Candace took her home, that he came home pissed off and made Candace take her home because he didn't want her there because Marlena was always dropping the kid off. What I would like to know is there's somebody else that's seen Journey there a lot. Could somebody corroborate that? What Dawn says versus what Marlena says.
And she had to come home.
Did your daughter say that she actually saw the suitcase, actually saw it packed?
Yes, my daughter seen it packed. She seen them putting clothes into a suitcase. She also said that she picked out her favorite dress to take with her. I mean, what she did, she had a favorite dress. It was pink and it was Paw Patrol. It was the pink Paw Patrol.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe there's a picture of her in that particular dress.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. So basically, they made up a big story, put on a facade for your daughter's sake.
So was it the last picture that they state, Dawn? Oh, hey, Joe. I didn't see you come in. At Crystal, I found Marlena to be truthful. I've said it all along. No, Summer never walked up that hill. Taking them dogs would protect the kids. Oh, I agree with that. Sorry, choking on spit. I agree with that statement. I did find a lot of things Marlena said a hell of a lot more truthful. This time, I hear more sincerity in this interview than I did when she did when Lips cut up their interview and made it so that it was so very hard to hear. I agree with that statement, Joe. I will try it, but I think someone hacked my Facebook. It shows an oh God, good luck. I know what that's like. The Cornbread Mafia is from Louisville. Yeah, Terry, I don't think that it's exactly the Cornbread Mafia that they're talking about. The Cornbread Mafia was very into growing marijuana and things like that. And yeah, the one guy went on to run. I've wanted to go over that forever and I never got to, but I did speak about it before. Definitely not, and you're right, definitely not what we're thinking when we think about summer, right? Um, in my opinion, I think it's possible, Joe. I don't know for sure. Some of the things Marlena says is curious, but what we need is somebody to corroborate what she's saying versus what Dawn's saying. Jody could be that person, but Jody came on very mad, and like I said, I didn't listen to both. So, uh, was it Josie innocent? Because I've heard. I'm going to assume what we're going to hear, and then I'm not going to be happy about it. However, other people have accused Josie of those things too, if that's what I'm thinking they're going to talk about. No way are the kids responsible. Yeah, the parents are responsible. Even if the kids did something or know something or seen something, it is not the parents' responsibility to hide evidence of a child something being hurt. And oh, another thing Marlena talks about in here is the resurrection stuff, and I'll probably pause. We're getting there. I gotta quit. I'm never gonna get through what I wanted to get through here. Marlena did say cartel. She said there's cartel here. Right now, I can't comment on that. Hopefully, one day I'll be able to. Uh, I don't know that I don't find it truthful. I find some exaggerated. I think I find some lies, but I do hear her. She sounds sober. I believe her when she says that. I hear more emotion in her voice at certain points. I think, much like most of them, half truth, half not. I think when she talks about Fred, she sounds truthful. Yeah, a lot of over exaggerated fibs. Exactly. Yeah, I don't think that kind of stuff should come out to YouTube when they talk about that. I think that if that was going on, there would have been a reason for it. Usually somebody who's doing that has had that done to them, and I think that child is underage, and I don't think that is things that we should be talking about on YouTube. And I also feel that at the beginning of this, we heard Josie was taking things very hard and he was separated from the other children and things like that. And I don't think that it's helpful in any kind of recovery of any kind of anything that has gone on in this case for any of the children, for us to drag that out and continuously talk about it. And I'll probably skip that, to be completely honest with you. And that's the kind of thing that Prayer Garden brings out that really aggravates the hell out of me. It's like re-victimizing victims. Their kids are underage. No matter what way you look at it, they shouldn't be being spoken about that in the public eye. If that's significant, that needs to go to the detectives and not to YouTube. It also affects the other boys, all the children around. Journey is going to have to grow up and hear her mother talk about that, her missing friend. It's just not responsible, in my opinion. I skipped the beginning because of that. I don't want to make any stupid comments. Okay, let's listen for a little bit. I keep lighting cigarettes and not smoking them because I'm just jibber jabbering.
And had Grandis
Good thing.
bring your daughter out and bring her home. Did Summer come with her when Grandis brought your daughter home to you? Was Summer
No.
Summer was not accompanying your daughter when she was dropped off then?
No, ma'am. It was just her and grandma.
Right, right. A lot of people see we had it wrong. A lot of people was confused. They thought your mother went to 110 and picked your daughter up. It wasn't that at all. It was Grandis brought your daughter home and didn't even have Summer come with them to when they dropped her off. So that's a red flag. That's a red flag right there because anytime that I drop children off that stay with my children, anytime that I drop any children off at their home, that's spending a weekend or a sleepover or anything with my kids,
Your kid usually attends it. Your
I
kid
take-
usually, yeah.
yes, my child is with that child, and when they get out of the car, I make sure my children go up to the door with the child and say, hey, mom just wanted to let you know we brought so and so home, and bless and have a wonderful day. So
And they
always,
get to let her stay with me.
absolutely, and and I'm always beat the horn and wave, as my kids coming back to the car to let them know that that everything went well, and it was great,
It was her and the boys and grandma that picked her up
right.
from my house.
Okay,
So
so
grandma brought her back.
right, but this time with no
And
other
nobody
children.
else but grandma.
Okay, that's a red flag. That's a red flag because I would think, well, it would be kind of weird to bring the boys with your daughter when she's Summer's friend. Like I have 3 sons and I got 1 daughter, and if someone stays with my daughter, then my daughter is the one that accompanies the child home. And at that point, seeing that,
How do you know they weren't taking the boys to ball practice or to the lake, or that they didn't have plans with the boys? Again, another stupid comment made by Per Gordon. What does it matter what children were in the car with Grandis, especially when Dawn's saying Candace took, at least Dawn told me, Candace took Journey home. So again, we don't know if the story is true, which one is telling the truth. And why does anybody think it's significant in Summer's case, especially if Journey was taken home days prior? I'll tell you why. The packing of the suitcase is significant, but is there proof of that? That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to come out with receipts when you show this stuff.
it's my daughter. I get out of the car and walk all the way up to the door, with my daughter because I accompany my daughter back to the vehicle as well. I don't let any girls get out of the car unattended without an adult. And now with my sons, and their friends, I usually, pull up, like I said, let them run up to the door. I blow the horn and, and they come back and jump in and we're on our way home. But it's a different, it's a different world out there for our daughters today. And you got to always, be watching over them. But
Let me just put it out there for all the summer prayer group and warriors or strong soldiers, whatever, knowing that Beach Creek is not a place for kids to ever go missing. When we were raised, where all of the people knew where we were at, it didn't matter if we did run off or whatever and go wherever. There was always people that was looking after us that down the line that knew exactly where we were and they informed their parents. So with this child being missing, it is very weird for them to go missing down there because that was like where you protected your women. That's where you protected your kids. That's how they was raised. You protect your child. You protect your woman that you're with. So therefore, there's not that I know of in my 38 years, I've never known a kid to go missing down there, period, until Summer disappeared.
absolutely. And, Andy Menard said the same thing. Fred Heel, who lives in that holler, said the same thing. I've talked to a few people inside of Ben Hill Road that have said the same thing as well. And I'm glad you touched on that. I am so glad you touched on that, Marlena, because, a lot of people, was wondering about that as well. I mean, the more people, that touch on this allows us to more understand that there's no way in hell Summer was abducted or went missing out of the inside of Ben Hill Road, because that's a place that no one goes missing at.
Them kids knew not to go off of that hill by themselves, period, for one. For two,
That doesn't mean somebody didn't come up on the hill. It's not normal for children to go missing in any situation from any city, any town, any neighborhood, any suburb, any projects, any HUD housing. It is not normal for children to go missing, period. Just because a child has not gone missing down there before doesn't mean they won't in the future or from any spot in America. And if I remember correctly, yes, a child has gone missing from down there. It was all over the news, it was publicized. Her uncle took her and they had to do the search. Carly Trent, does that ring a bell? So, Marlena, I hate to say this, but you are completely wrong in this aspect. Just that statement doesn't make any kind of sense. And I don't mean that rudely, but children they're not supposed to just go missing from anywhere. She said Summer used to chase after her car in the car. Yeah, I didn't get that far yet. Oh, thank you, Ivy's mom. Yeah, definitely. We're going to go through the whole live. I just want to listen to it an hour, hour and a half at a time before I go live and go over it. It's a 4-hour live. I don't know. I'm confused about that. You hear people like Laura and Fred say they did. You hear Crystal Spencer say they did. But you hear David Britt say no, they didn't. You hear Jody say no, they didn't. You hear Andy say no, they didn't. You know, Sharfie said he never seen them. And then you hear comments from Jody like there are neighbors that never even seen Summer. Didn't even know she existed. So I don't know that I think that the kids ran all over the place. Do I think the boys maybe took Summer in the woods, down the trail, down to the creek? Yeah. But I think they had permission to do so. You got to remember Josie's 13 and David Britt's little boy said that that's what they did. But what children don't play in their own yard, on their own property? Who are we to fault them for allowing a 13-year-old to take their sister down to the creek to play? Is that really illegal? You got to think about that. Was that child responsible enough to do so if he's being accused of other things that I really don't want to speak about? Yeah, they definitely did. And if I had 11 acres to wander, there would be certain areas I would allow my children to go to because that's normal. And you want your kids to grow up outside and playful and having a normal children life, right? Like, is it a sin? Is it irresponsible to allow your 13-year-old, 9-year-old, 11-year-old to watch your children? I don't think that's irresponsible. I think millions of parents all over the world do it. Right. She did. She said they wandered into her house to get food. You're right. She said they didn't. It said in this live. Okay, let's listen a little more.
They ain't nobody just gonna pull up down there, because if you pull up in somebody's driveway, you're likely to get shot. That's just truth be told.
You can't even.
People, I mean, you couldn't even turn around down there in the day unless you knew that person, and that their driveway is the only way you got to turn around down that way.
Amen. Amen. You can't even
So
go
I
to
don't know. I mean, this with the Summer being missing and everybody just like all. I'm not saying about you, Miss PJ, but I'm talking about everybody else that's running their mouth that don't know anything about the case, that doesn't know anything about the inside of how the life went on or whatever. I mean, them people though have no idea of what it was like raised down there. Nobody. I mean, yeah, it had a bad name. Yes, it did. It had a bad name when you tell everybody you're from Beach Creek. Everybody steps back about 3 steps, and they're like, you know. But they protected their children, they protected their women, they made sure that everything went as smooth as they went, and there was no police that ever was down there, not one. They don't come one carload, they come like 10, because they're not coming alone. And if they have to come alone, they're not coming. That's the way it worked back in the day.
absolutely. Well, it still works that way, Marina. It still works that way. If you go down Beach Creek and turn into Ben Hill, and the dogs alert everybody, and the next thing you know, you've got people stalking you out there, looking at you.
Okay, I was hoping that they'd talk a little more about that. We already know we hear Beach Creek was a bad neighborhood to come to. However, people going, oh my God, there's good people down there too. And I'm sure them good people had visitors and family. And I think statements like that are bad for any community when people make them. I think that there's hoods that are worse than Beach Creek. Now, I'm not saying Beach Creek isn't a rough area. Like I said in the past, it very much so reminds me of a town I grew up in where they ran people they didn't want in their out, like black people or people that just didn't fucking belong there, white even. You know what I mean? So I can get that. But the not policing of the area bothers the living shit out of me because no police should be scared of an area that they are policing. And we hear Linda, Crystal Spencer's mom, say that there was an officer that came to her gas station daily and got breakfast and she would sit and talk to him. So that means that the police were in the area daily at some point, but that market's been closed down. So is there anywhere for the police a reason to come there? Like, I really feel that that needs to be questioned, that the police weren't down there patrolling and doing their job. There has to be a reason that they didn't. I mean, are they really scared? They police areas like Kingsport, which is a bigger city than Beach Creek. There's more shootings, more wide known. That just doesn't make sense to me unless they were purposefully not coming down to police the area. Just my thoughts on it. Yeah, very different. Okay.
And watching
Because
you.
y'all don't fit into that world down there. They're trying to figure out who all these newcomers are, who's down here messing around that ain't supposed to be, and what's going on, and why is this happening? Because this has never happened. I mean, no kid has never went missing, and I'm telling you, I was raised down there, brought up down there. I mean, my sisters and my brothers was brought up down there. I mean, never once in your lifetime knew that kids went missing down there.
Right.
Never.
Nobody ever.
And then you want to mention about the dogs or whatever. I heard in the story about Summer Wells' case where they said somebody said something about the dogs not barking.
I guess you're right about that, Moonshine, because it is two different areas. It wouldn't be the same police. And again, like the town I grew up, we only had one, maybe sometimes I remember when they bought a new cop car and it was only two cops on duty. So maybe it's a situation like that. But however, they police Churchill, right? Hawkins County sheriffs, what areas all do they police around there? I mean, Hawkins County is pretty big. It's not a small area. They have to have more police officers and trained people. Maybe what they need, and something I've said in the past, and even something I think we need here in my city, is substations. Something they need to work on down there in that area, I think, that would help the area would be police substations. Churchill has its own cops. So why is it so hard for Hawkins County sheriffs to get to Rogersville? What all are they policing? Yeah, bad reception. That's a good reason. But even still, they say after the police are called that it takes them 30 minutes to get from where to where. Why does it take that significant amount of time? How many officers do they have? Should they have an officer that polices maybe Beach Creek in an area next to it with a substation or just out there all day long policing it? I mean, that's how you fix your communities. You don't just leave them stranded with no help, right? Allowing people to run free among and shoot guns and nobody hear it and hurt people. Right. Where to where if Churchill has its own police? I'm going to have to look at it on a map How many police officers do they have? How do they round up their police officers to observe and watch each area? Is that being done correctly? Is that a question that people in the area should ask? And like I said, I know there's a lot of underfunding. I've said it in the past, even with the police station, the fire station, they had an issue with the fire station asking for help when they have like 100-year-old building. You know what I mean? Those are things that help communities. Those are the things people should vote on. Not who's going to help hide the crime. Who's going to get their police officers out there more in a more widespread area? Who's going to be more willing on a council to give the funding that needs to be given so that you don't have fires all over the place just burning things down that people can't get to? Yeah, they said they were understaffed. Maybe that's something that we should look into one day, because are they still understaffed? I mean, they had a lot of money to build that new jail. They got all of that money. Well, Kingsport did, but they allocated it all around. Money from that lawsuit they had. Why was none of it allocated, or how much of it was allocated to public safety? Because part of the drug problem in every community is public safety. You have to police the areas to keep the drug numbers down, right? So why didn't, or how much of that went to Hawkins County or other areas that would have helped police the high drug traffic in addicted area? They were friendly with a bottle of scotch. Well, I don't know what the laws are on giving them liquor, but truth, they couldn't, if the parents were under the influence, they wouldn't have been able to take any of their statements. That's a lot of the reason why they throw people in a drunk tank, to go to jail, right? And their statements are untrue. However, could it have been to loosen Candace up and make friends with her so that the next day, because we hear Dawn say Candace was flipping out, she was in the car, she didn't want to talk to the police officers. We see Candace, even to this day, running away from certain questions, situations, things she doesn't want to answer. You have to ask why. The new Jill is a renovated Kmart. Kingsport is mainly Sullivan County. Yeah, definitely moonshine. But what I'm saying is that the money they got was to be allocated to all the counties in the area. It was for all of Eastern Tennessee. Vehicles, equipment, yeah. Conflict of interest. I don't know what that was meant to. All right. Let's look. How long have I been on here? Ooh, okay. We didn't get as far as I wanted to. Hold on.
Barking or whatever, them dogs up on that hill would alert on anything and everything that moved. So he can't sit there and say that them dogs never barked or whatever. Them dogs up on that hill would raise hell until he would holler about 15 times to get them to call him off to make them hush. I know, because my daughter, Summer give my daughter one of the pups out of the video. Well, I think you played it maybe, or somebody else has played it, where she's outside and she's got a puppy in her hand. I had a dog that came out of that litter. Actually, matter of fact, the dog that Summer had in her hand, she gave it to my daughter, and it ended up getting sick and dying. I think somebody poisoned it. But anyway,
That was that yucky?
no, that was I don't remember what she called. Maybe it was Jackie, the little brown one with one blue eye and one brown eye. And he was spotted up. He had no tail.
The one she was holding in that picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Dawn and Candace said that was yucky. And matter of fact, Candace later tried to pawn off some dog that we all know was not yucky at all. And we didn't ever know what happened to Yucky. We had no idea what ever happened to Yucky. So Yucky
Summer
was given to her.
Summer gave it to my daughter.
And it ended up being unalived as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
well, sorry to hear that.
But just to make it all clear that my daughter did not stay up there for weeks and weeks at a time. I didn't just drop.
Okay, so they talked about the Yucky situation. There was an argument between, I don't understand no matter what happened to that puppy, let's start with Marlena said somebody poisoned it. That's a very common thing around there, the dog fighting. Jody Sue stating she had to go to another very bad hauler, the one worse than theirs, to fight. We hear to fight about a dog. We hear about lots of dog fighting. There's a lot of issues with dogs in that area. Again, I think policing would help. I think animal control should fine people who have thousands, hundreds, 20s, tens dogs on their property. Here in the city, that's what they do. Um, there should be a limit to how many dogs you're allowed to have on your property. But the whole yucky situation, does that play into Summer's disappearance? They state that the dogs go missing. Marlena goes on to say the dogs would bark. This, that, and the other. I mean, we've gone over this 100 million trillion times. The dogs being missing that day absolutely would have been a concern, but is there proof that the dogs were missing? Don wasn't home, and he says, oh, all of a sudden the dogs were gone. How the fuck would Don know that if he wasn't home? You got to think about that, right? Okay, so I'm not going to comment much more on the dog situation right now. I don't think that's significant to this, but yeah, she ended up with a puppy and somebody poisoned it, she said. And she's saying that she ended up with Yucky, which Candace said she gave away, or like the whole story about that dog. I just don't know if that was YouTube creating a bigger scenario or situation, or if does it play significance in the summer. The dogs as a whole, I believe, play a significance in the summer. But this one particular puppy, this is what we're finding out happened to it. And I don't know why Prayer Garden continuously, for almost 4 years, pushes this. Just continuously. Over and over and over and over and over. What help is that to finding Summer? I mean, just my opinion.
My kid off with her. She wasn't up there but like 2 days tops at the most. I think that was Andy Bernard's old lady that said, or maybe had said that I had dropped my daughter off and she'd been up there for weeks or whatever. I don't really know who said it, but my daughter never went up there for weeks at a time. My daughter was always with me, always. She never
I
hardly went anywhere.
actually, that was the first time you'd ever let them keep your daughter, wasn't it? Wasn't that the first time
Yes,
that you
ma'am.
ever
That was the
allowed
first
them?
time I ever in her lifetime let them keep her like that, ever.
Right, right.
Because if you
And
wasn't close family to me, if you wasn't my sister-in-law, if you wasn't my sister, if you wasn't my brother, or if you wasn't any part of my ex or her father's people, you didn't keep my youngin'. I
right,
kept her. I've had her since day one. I raised her from day one, mostly by myself because her daddy was in and out of a institution. He was always in jail or always going to jail or always something. So I
right.
raised her from day one.
They said, Marlena, did you ever see Candace or Don Wells did you ever see Summer and those boys be abused up there on the hill?
I mean, I've seen them have stuff thrown at them. I've seen them being whooped. I've seen them being knocked down. I've seen them. I even seen the last time I was up there, and I would think that was like around my birthday, like maybe a couple months. Well, maybe it was about a month and a half before. Month and a half. Yeah, because she went missing in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
May the 13th or May the 11th, or maybe it was a couple days before Mother's Day. I saw the oldest one smoking pot, and I was like, "What the heck are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you letting them?" Oh well, it's okay. And which Candace was doing Lord has at the time because her teeth was swollen up. They was drinking a big bottle of liquor, and I had asked Candace. I said, "So somebody said something about the dogs not barking or whatever. Them dogs up on that hill would alert on either, but like 2 days tops at the most." I think that was Andy Bernard's old lady that said, or maybe had said.
Bring your daughter. Few people inside of Ben Hill Road that have said the same thing as well. And I'm glad you touched on that. I am so glad you touched on that, Marlena, because, a lot of people, was wondering about that as well. I mean, the more people, that touch on this allows us to more understand that there's no way in hell Summer was abducted or went missing out of the inside of Ben Hill Road, because that's a place that no one goes missing at. Exactly.
Them kids knew not to go off of that.
Right.
Ever.
Nobody ever.
And then you want me to
They said, Marlena, did you ever see Candace or Don Wells did you ever see Summer and those boys be abused up there on the hill?
I mean, I've seen them have stuff thrown at them. I've seen them being whooped. I've seen them being knocked down. I've seen them. I even seen the last time I was up there, and I would think that was like around my birthday, like maybe a couple months. Well, maybe it was about a month and a half before. Month and a half. Yeah, because she went missing in June, right?
Mm-hmm.
May the 13th or May the 11th, or maybe it was a couple days before Mother's Day. I saw the oldest one smoking pot, and I was like, "What the heck are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
We've heard a lot of people say the oldest smoked pot. We've heard Dudley say it. We've heard about the abuse. Do we believe it? I don't know. I have no physical proof that there was abuse of them children. I think the kids looked healthy in their pictures. Dirty, neglect, maybe, but the hitting and stuff. However, the things that she says to me could be truthful, and I'm going to tell you why. Crystal Spencer has been in jail. She's been living in another county. She's not really around the situation and has not been since 2017 or 18. Maybe 2018, 2019, but a lot of the things that Marlena is saying correlates deeply with the things Crystal Spencer told me. And we could go over that interview. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll take pieces of this and make a video and pair it with things Crystal Spencer said. I think it's worth listening and comparing to before making a judgment, plus comparing to with other people, because maybe there wasn't, and these are people just mad. These are people that were friends once with Candace that then had fights with Candace and Dawn. So Marlena just said the kids knew not to go off the hill. Yes, she did say that. Okay, well, I can say what said things Ellison had stated was true, so I'm going to cross tie here on some. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Mama. Yeah, they're all on the move. Agreed. Okay.
This. Why are you letting them? Oh, well, it's okay. And which Candace was doing Lord has at the time because her teeth was swollen up. They was drinking a big bottle of liquor. And I had asked Candace, I said, so Dawn hasn't took off on one of his drug sprees. She said, no, not yet. He's been good for a while. We've been trying to clear or get our life together and this and that. I said, well, that's good. I'm proud that, y'all are trying to live right or whatever. And then it wasn't not sure after that. She had called like a week or so after my birthday. My birthday's on Mother's Day. And she said, he's took off again. He's been gone for like 4 days. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I don't know if he's coming back this time or not. What am I going to do with all these children? What am I going to do about paying the bills and all that stuff? And then when that day that I was up there for Mother's Day, right around there, CPS was coming in to make a claim on them going to school dirty or not being in school enough. It was something around that area. Like they'd been laying out or not going to school or going to school dirty or being disruptive.
I believe that you were right about going to school dirty. The kids were putting up with a lot of trauma because they were going to school on not.
That could be very possible. However, I want to add to that. Jody Sue made the statement that the eldest son had gone to school and said something to a teacher or a principal. And that's why DHS was called into their CPS, whatever, into their home. Was because of something that the oldest child said. And then Allison and Sherry say that it was something that happened between their children and the Wells children as well. Excuse me, I'm getting hiccups or something. They really want to make you throw up. Yeah, Mama would actually probably know a little bit more about why DHS is in here if you was in there. But, the family has never come out and said the whole story, but they've definitely given bits and pieces, especially at the beginning of Summer's case when everything was just coming out and they were all doing interviews. This lady getting paid to be on PG. That could be. However, I see a big difference between this interview and her interview on Lips. Huge difference. And she sounds way more sober. That doesn't mean she couldn't be a good storyteller or a liar. And I also have some questions for Marlena if she ever wants to answer them that I'm not going to bring out here because I don't like to be able to not fact check something. But I have some questions about maybe some past relationships she was in that Karen Renfro had mentioned to me, and maybe some other things. Okay. Yeah, she didn't know them, but right, you're right. And I don't know because I didn't see the whole interview yet. Yeah, that's what Allison said. I was the one that asked that. Why did Allie was on, that's when Prayer Garden blocked me. Allie was on panel and I asked her, why did Dawn just take Josie? And Allison said it was because Josie was doing weed to me. And then on, I believe it was Molly Go Lightly's interview or maybe Laura's interview, she said it had more to do with her mom. And then Sherry on Molly Go Lightly's interview said it had to do with Dawn giving the kids weed, was her words. Yeah, the showering, lots of people have confirmed that. I do gotta agree. A lot of people have said things about that on different sides. Yeah, that's what was said too as a point. PG's pissed off at you. She's pissed at everybody. She thinks she's the only one right on YouTube, and I believe PG's not a very truthful, nice person. I don't think that hiding behind a church icon while you sin daily on here is the right thing to promote. And I think people that believe that shit have issues, and I don't understand how she has so many ties and contacts to Beach Creek to get them to come up on her panel. To me, it sounds like she has a relationship down there with somebody. That's my opinion and my speculation, but I don't believe she's from there. I think she's from right here in Pittsburgh. That's also my opinion and speculation. I can't prove it yet. One day I'll be able to, and we'll talk about it again. Where was I? PG pissed me off. Oh, she pissed you off. Did he have pot at school? That's a possibility. Yes. She needs gas money. She's driving a big V8. No, Marion, no. She didn't, because even when they were fighting and even after, Candace was posting pictures of them going out to a restaurant together, and you hear Allison say that Sherry and Candace continued to speak even after their fight, that Sherry took Candace's side and that there was fights there. So I don't think that Sherry ever really disappeared from Candace's life, in my opinion, just from things I've seen, pictures, photographs, proof of it, you know? The mods in there telling everyone, yeah, crazy. Money, money, money. Who'd you find through the obituary? I think Prayer Garden has a family relationship down there. Or a friend relationship. And I can't get deep into it right now because, like I said, I have to have proof, but it may connect to me and my family or the area I'm from. We'll get there one day, hopefully. Okay.
No, that day I helped her hang. That day I helped her hang about 5 or 6, maybe 7 blue totes of clothes for them kids, folded them, put them all in a different section. I washed 20 loads. I know at least 20 to 30 loads of laundry that day. I mean, I used to go in and wash the dishes, cook for them, everything, and help pick up the house, get it cleaned up, and get it ready to pass inspection. I know I done that some. I always tried to help her when she needed help. But, you know, in the end, I'm the one that got backstabbed. I'm the one that lost my kid. I'm the one that's being followed. I'm the one that's getting accused of taking Summer and this and that. If I would have took Summer, she'd have been in a better environment. She wouldn't have been being mistreated, and she wouldn't be missing right now.
Absolutely.
And if I'd have took Summer, I wouldn't have stayed in town. I'm not that dumb. Everybody has known where I've been at the whole entire time. The police has
known. At the time Summer went missing, Marlena, they took your daughter. I'm not saying your daughter was mistreated, but I'm saying that statement doesn't hold no water. And you go on to say you're not a bitch to fuck with and this, that, and the other. Well, you know what? A lot of people say that, and I'm not sitting here trying to put you down, but that doesn't give an impression that you're out there to try to look or help look Summer in any way, coming out here and asking for money and acting very tough. In my opinion, I don't think is the correct way to project yourself when you want to say you're innocent and had nothing to do with this. But at that moment in your life, you was addicted. So Summer would not have been in a better place because they took your daughter. Now, did that have to do with YouTube? I believe so, 100%. I think it's fucked up. And I feel for you. And I say it all the time. And I get it. Prayer Gordon says you need help. You've been moved around because of this, because of that. No, honey. Prayer Gordon, that was because Marlena had an addiction at the time. However, she sounds great right now. I think she sounds completely sober. But I have a lot of confusion just listening to the little bit of this that I did. I have a lot of confusing thoughts from it. Some things she says make sense. It matches with other people, but again, some of it sounds like it could be a lie, or could it be Dawn's lying? I don't understand why Dawn would lie about something like Marlena dropping her kid off all the time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, and that's what I'm trying to, you guys, your opinion. I think there's half truths here. I think there's half lies. Just my opinion.
Know where I've been at the whole entire time. I would not take Summer like that.
Well, if you would have took her, you would only took her to keep her away from the evil that you saw going on around her.
Yes, and I would.
Well, and I absolutely don't think Marlena took Summer. Let me state that with that, because people will turn that around. Do I think Marlena took Summer? Hell no. Okay.
I would have made it. I would have made it better for her. I wouldn't have made it worse for her.
They asked, did you ever see Summer sleeping on anything cold, like jugs of milk, or falling asleep on top of ice cream, or falling asleep on a pile of snow?
No, ma'am, never.
She said no. Deputy Sheriff, she did not ever witness nothing like that.
Summer was always the warm. She always wanted to have a blanket on her legs or around her. She was like my youngin. They had that soft fleece blanket that they had to have. It felt, almost like cotton. They had to have a fleece blanket for them to have to cover up, and like a security blanket.
Right.
And
right.
Summer had one, and it was a Paw Patrol, because her and my daughter had one. It was matching.
I hope I pronounced this right. Marisa? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I appreciate your support for Summer's channel. God bless. My mods, can you?
What's strange to me is she told me that she didn't really want to speak on it. One, she wanted $500, and two, that her siblings' father-in-law or something, I got to go back and read it again, was over the case. So she wasn't able to speak about it because her family, it was a conflict of interest, and that she had been asked or something. No, I don't want to go on and say things she didn't say, but if I'm remembering correctly, it was something along those lines, that she couldn't speak of it. Well, today she sounds very, very chatty about some things. So
Can you remind everyone coming in tonight to please, anything they're going to give the channel tonight, please give it to Marlena, and keep her cash app flowing in this in the chat tonight, so she can get some help. She's going through a lot. What she's going through behind the scenes, PG knows she does need some help. So if you guys could help her, I would surely appreciate it. Let us help her tonight if we can. Anybody that can help her, please do. And
listen, if this is true and she's really needing help, it's okay to ask for that, but it's not okay to use Summer, in my opinion, as a reason for that. Because of everything she's going through, because of Summer. Prayer Garden, your Summer's channel, you state it every night. Everything should be only about helping Summer. What is Summer going through? What did Summer go through? Marlena's daughter is living with somebody else she's taken care of. Marlena has no children in her care right now. I don't say it's wrong to ask for help for Marlena, but that should be something one time at the end of the live where you give her Cash App or, better yet, her Facebook, and she can connect with people and they can offer her money privately, not out loud, in front of everybody, like, hey, the more you give me, the more I'll talk. To me, that is wrong. And you put Ziggy down for it, you're doing the same exact thing. I have never offered to put somebody's Cash App up for an interview. If these people care about Summer Moon Utah Wells, they will do it for free. Just my opinion. But let's continue. I have how much longer here? Another 10 minutes. I didn't get too far behind. I'll come back later today after I do what I have to do. I have to go somewhere today. So I got to get a little bit of sleep. I slept till like 6, 7 last night. And then I stayed up all night. So it's just about my bedtime. Okay.
She can surely use it. She really does need it. She does need it. I'm not, I don't think we need to explain why and what's going on per se. But trust me, I know what's going on. Please, if you can, please help her by putting some money on her Cash App to help her out. It would be greatly appreciated. And God bless everyone that does. God bless each and every one of you that does help her out tonight. She can surely use it. So please help her.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for all the help and support that I can get. I appreciate every bit of it.
They said thank you, Marlena, for coming up and answering these questions and
welcome.
Talking about Summer's case. See, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot.
And her favorite color wasn't purple. Her favorite color was blue.
Absolutely. And that's something that Marlena brought to my attention. Marlena said, PG, Summer's favorite color ain't purple. That's her birthstone, PG. Candace has found out that that's what somebody told Candace about that being Summer's birthstone. And so Candace decided to use that color as Summer's favorite color because she didn't know. She didn't spend enough time with her children to know anything about them. So she used Summer's birthstone as her favorite color. And Marlena's like that.
I think the color purple is the color of hope. I've heard people say Summer's favorite color was blue in the past. I don't think that's anything anybody kept from anybody, but I don't think it's significant in Summer being missing. Again, your Summer's channel. Keep the facts to Summer being missing so we can find her, Prayer Garden. Please. The favorite color of Summer is not significant in her being missing.
That wasn't her favorite color, PG. I changed this baby's diapers and been around this baby from day one. And Marlena, was one of them that read books to the kids and colored with the kids and talked with the kids and played with the kids. And, Summer's favorite color was blue. She really liked blue. That's why she loved Paw Patrol, is because it was blue. And, that was the insight that came from Marlena. That's how I was able to bring that to you guys. Marlena has really, brought some things to light that we did not know, about, that was going on behind the scenes up there. I mean, they were, trying to, sell off the youngest boy to Marlena. And when Marlena wasn't, going to cough up.
Not sale, give.
Oh, they were going to give him to you.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be able to get pregnant or have any kids. So she offered to give him to me.
Oh,
because she knew that my family was a good family, that he would be taken care of and would be looked after, just like my little girl has been the whole entire time she's been alive. And I've got to thank God for that, because my kid has had several people that love her and look after her and give her graces of how good she's been raised and how respectful she's been raised. And I've got to say, I've really chose the people that has been in my daughter's life.
And why did you say she changed her mind?
She had got mad at me for something. I don't remember what it was at that time. Maybe because Don was screwing up at work and my dad had fired him. I think that's most of it, because my dad had fired him for not coming in half drunk, half lit, didn't God rest my daddy's soul. But anyway, not coming in when he's supposed to, laying out drunk, coming in with alcohol on his breath, always messed up. My dad worked in the public eye. My daddy painted all the hospitals around here, like I said before. He painted Johnson City, he painted Indian Path, he painted Houston Valley, he painted all these, even Johnson City Medical. He painted all these hospitals around here. My dad had a good name until all this stuff went downhill with Summer Wells, because of what Donnie had said. Donnie had told my dad that he had to sacrifice.
So, not because Fred said that he was a coke dealer and that Fred sold for him and he had many people and that he was a trafficker, but because Dawn said that he put the baby through a resurrection. And that's weird you do this interview right after I talk about that. Just saying. But why do you, your dad, and Fred have the same story if y'all don't talk and get along? To me, it seems like a family that gets along, then don't get along, then gets along and don't get along. And it doesn't make sense to me. Others have stated that your father was a drug trafficker. I'm not saying that that's true or not. And I'm not saying he didn't hold a good job or have a good position or hire people and help them at the same token, Miss Crawford. However, your father's not here and he's not significant to Summer's case unless they use some statements he made in court. And the first time you said resurrected, what kind of resurrection do you mean? Because the way you stated it the first time you said it in this interview, it sounded like it could be like he had to do this because of a debt or something. Like, what causes it? What more was there? He only said to her, I had to resurrect her. I mean, there had to be more of a story for y'all to just come together and elaborate the first few months of Summer's case and make statements of like that, like the first year, the first 6 months. Jody says it, Dawn says it, you say it, Fred says it, Laura says it. Now, apparently, by third party, your father says it. That's 6 people right there. If you want us to believe that, what's the rest of the story? Like, that's the only thing that Dawn said? It was a 2-second conversation? I highly doubt that. To me, it sounds scripted, and I don't know why. I'm sure the police believe that too. And are these things that you all told LE and FBI and TBI? I'm very curious.
Sacrifice his kid. And one day he would see her again, exactly what he said to my dad. And my dad, everybody took that all out of text. My dad went to his grave and never told nobody but me and the family that was around him and the police. Rather, my dad didn't like talking to the law. My daddy wasn't never a man that called the law. My daddy handled stuff on his own. But Dawn had ran into him and told him that he had sacrificed his own kid and he would see her again someday, which my dad is dead. And I wish some people that talks about my dad, they talk about how, oh, well, he should have done this or he should have done that. No, that was who my dad was. If you went to my dad for a secret, my daddy kept that secret. My daddy didn't go out blurting that stuff around. He didn't say stuff like that. My dad was a good man. He would give you.
He never did tell what went down in the creek that night. Isn't that what Fred said? I have it clipped. I'll put it out. Your daddy was a good secret keeper. Freddie Boy said it too.
His shirt off of his back. He'd bring you in. He would feed you. He would give you everything he possibly could to help you. And then everybody's sitting here telling, my dad was a bad person. My dad wasn't a bad person. He is dead. He is gone.
Your dad
say
did
what
not.
you will.
Your dad did not keep that secret, Marlena. He did not keep that secret. He told what
Well,
Dawn knows.
he told the police, but he didn't tell. Like after she went missing and all the investigators and stuff started coming around and the police, yeah, he did tell them. But I'm saying, like, my dad wasn't a big man that would talk to the police just because you did something petty or whatever. That was a little girl, and my dad knew that little girl was missing, and he was hoping they would find her before he had passed away. He got sick and he passed away.
So basically, a lot of people was saying that your dad was supposedly a bad person because he didn't come out here in the evil YouTube world and get chewed up and spit out. No, this is not a place to come and try to tell people anything, because that's why this channel here exists, Marlena. That's why Summer has a channel over here right now, because you know what? I came out to try to tell, the best for Summer and everything, and to show people how, these wells were. And I had people coming at me in every direction. They treated me so bad and was so mean to me and attacking me. And all I was doing is trying to, open their eyes to who and what the wells were, to all of their bullshit. And I'm going to tell you, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible, the way they treated me. And I don't blame your dad for not coming out here, because that's what, and him being an older age, he couldn't.
Listen, Prayer Garden. You state you didn't know the Wells till after Summer went missing. How do you know how bad of people they were prior to Summer going missing? And what business is it of yours to come out here every night, claim you're on Summer's children, and put down Summer's family, her brothers, her friends, the people that she knew? Bring them on your panel, ask people to pay those people to do interviews, and then trash them after they die. Nobody asked for you to do that. It's not your job, nor is it your responsibility to come out and spread rumors and lies that cause chaos in Summer's case. And I have to ask why. Bringing up made up people, people from their past 30, 40 years ago that have no significance to Summer going missing, other than to give a character statement, but you go far and beyond that. You put things out there that do not help Summer be found just by doing this. And I just want to make that clear. Guys, I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to leave the tab up when I come back. So what I'm going to do is I probably won't go to sleep for about another hour, hour and a half. I'll probably sleep till 4 and go where I need to go from 4 to 7, 8. And then I'll be back in live by 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. We'll do another 2-hour live, then I'll get to sleep. And I will come tomorrow and we'll do another one. I will try to finish this in 2 or 3 days. I want to add stuff to it and make videos as we listen as well, so you'll be hearing it twice. And then maybe even going over them again after the videos are made with the second party. So maybe even 3 times. You know how I do it. Don't worry, we're not going to miss anything. Thank you for being here. I'm going to end this stream here. Peace and love to you all. I hope you think about the things I say. And see you later. Thank you, guys. I just always blown away by Prayer Garden. So it's midnight now. Probably not midnight. I'm going to say like 10, 11 because I want to try to go to bed earlier tonight so that I could get up and do 2 lives tomorrow. Because like I said, this is a 4-hour live and we didn't even get an hour in. And you know, I always get to add shit too. Maybe I'll do a 3-hour live tonight instead of a 2-hour live. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Peace and love. See you later tonight. Bye.